I consider myself very privileged to have the opportunity to address this group. You know, it's really quite amazing when you think, almost 10 years ago, we started in this company. And the primary basis for our initial involvement was the quality and the character of the owners, the integrity that they exuded, the story and promise that they made to us that they would be here long term, that they would do it right, they would not compromise. And you have no idea what kind of music that was to my ears, having been in this industry as long as I have. I've seen the good, the well-intentioned that didn't make it, the bad and the ugly. But I'm going to tell you something. This is the best thing I've ever been involved in because they care about you. You know, when I was thinking about, you know what I talk about today with you? And I always get back to what people need. What is it that makes one person successful and another person not successful? What are the qualities that you need to develop? And not just as a form of memory where you're parroting the right phrases, but as something that is really etched in the fiber of your personality and it becomes the essence of who you are. That's where power lives. It does not live with pretense. It does not live with people trying to manipulate people without first being concerned about that person that you're speaking to. And I found over the years that that takes some learning. It takes some awareness to have the sensitivities that we need in our relationships with each other. This is a relationship business. If you are going to be a leader in this business, you are going to have to adopt in your heart and soul a servant's mentality. And many of us are not good at that because we don't see any immediate reward for that. But I can guarantee you that in life, what you put out and the nature of what you put out comes back to you in like kind. It may not just come at the moment that you expect it, but in my experience, I can guarantee you it comes back. So in that regard, given that that is true, what kind of person do you want to be first? Because what you have in your life right now is the consequence of the decisions that you have made, from the thoughts in your mind to the emotions you expressed, to the habits you developed, to the circumstance you have, which is called the life I have now. You see, we are not mystified anymore. You know, I'm standing here. How many people do you see here? You see one, that's an illusion. What you don't see is all the teachers, all the influences, all the people who gave to me so I could give to you. And all you see is me. I'm just a translator. I'm not the issue. So take this information to heart, because it does have the power to change your life. At this stage of my life, I don't guess anymore about this. I know it works. Are you ready for it? All right. Illusions. Well, now that you know I'm not standing here alone, how about you knowing that you're right now traveling at 66,600 miles an hour? Do you feel it? No, you don't feel it. Is it happening? That's the same thing in principles in life. They're happening, they're running the game, and you and I better figure them out. Is that making sense to you? Now, you can have it your way, or you can have it the right way. Most of us don't have it the right way. So I'm going to give you some ideas that might help us move together. Because, see, in personal development, it's never a finished product. You're never finished. Isn't that exciting? You can spend your whole life chasing to become more and more and better if that's what you want. Or you can become one of those people that gets up in the morning and says, what am I getting up for? I'm in the game of survival and I don't even know it. I'm marching to the beat of 90% of the people, 100 miles an hour toward mediocrity and average. Because everyone else left and right of me is basically doing that. What should that teach you? It should teach you this: when you wake up, you might be lonely for a while. You might not have too many people understand what you're about, what you're trying to do with your life. You will have people try to sabotage. Some people even who love you don't want to see the reflection of your new self, your new growth, as a comparison to where they stuck. You need to have the courage to be unpopular at times. Take it on the chin from time to time, but don't ever, ever let someone steal your dream once you establish it. All we can do is give it away. They need our permission to steal our dream. Do you understand that? So the critic, the person of opinion, Einstein said it brilliantly. He said people who have a mission driven in their souls, people who are striving for greatness, will be conspired against by those with mediocre minds. Are you ready for what you're going to face? Because, you know, it's great. When I hear the stories of the RVPs and I see my colleagues who are Circle of Champions members, I know when we sit down and talk, the stories are homogenous. They're the same. And when I hear people, they went through this, they went through that, they went through this, they almost quit. Guess what the big eraser is? Huh? The big eraser is when you walk across this stage and they say, there's an RVP. How many of you want that eraser in your life? Are you ready? Are you really ready? Let's think about something else we're in. We're in a system in a universe. Wow, a universe. We're in a Milky Way. How about that one? It's not a candy bar. It's a planetary system. Light, 186,282 miles per second, takes 100,000 years to go from one end to the other. What are you worrying about? This is our reality as well, isn't it? There are millions of galaxies with millions and millions of planets and stars. And here we are, sitting down here contemplating, maybe we're alone. That's an unusual contemplation for a thinker, looking at the odds. But we have the gift of life. Wow. You say, so I've heard people say to me, I didn't plan to be here. I didn't ask to be here. I said, want to bet? I said, what do you mean? I said, look at the odds you beat to be here. You could have been millions and millions of other people, given genetics, chromosomes, genes, combinations. Bing, you made it. Not only that, the battle was uphill. And the first lesson you learned in life is discomfort is part of life. Yes or no? I can guarantee you your mama learned it. Now let's look at that. When you were that little infant, I want to get you back there. When you were that little infant, you didn't hate anybody. You weren't angry at anybody. You had no pretense, no judgments of people. You only had like a couple of fears: falling and loud noises. Whoop. What has happened to you since then? You're afraid of everything. Let's be honest. Afraid to fail, so we don't try. Afraid to be exposed in our incompetency, so we don't grow. We don't want to be judged. We want to look good and cool and hide from everything that will make us grow, which is the confrontation and inclusion of the challenges of life. Every great thinker I've studied, at some point or another in their teaching, said without failure there can be no success. J.B. Watson, the father of IBM, said it this way: If you want to become successful, triple your failure rates. You're going to get there. So I want you to know something. People who make it, listen closely, they fail their way to the top. Are you hearing me? I mean, this is amazing. Let's look at the behavioral side of the business. Boy, I need to be a genius to do this. Give me a break. Hi, I got a nice phone here. Would you like to try it, Mom? Help me out in the business? Woo, PhD in that one. Do you keep your business options open, Joe? Watch this DVD and take a look at this magazine. My name's on the back. Give me a call. Huh? But I don't know what to do after. Then you get them to a meeting and let someone who knows what to do it for you until you know what to do. Whoa, brain surgery to get there. You can't think success in the first person. You think group. But if you're a leader, you outwork everybody in your group. You are an example for them to follow. Oh boy, I got some of you just then, didn't I? Here's some leaders reach a certain point and it's not good. They start making some bucks. They start getting tailor-made clothes. They start sashaying around, looking good, and then looking at their downline report to see who's doing what they're no longer doing. Those of you who are guilty, just put your hand over your head. Oh, I saw a couple in the front row, and they're the best there is. Let's look at the world we're in. You want to talk about opportunity. Want to talk about opportunity. Think about this. Are we in tough times economically, yes or no? Are companies merging and just doing all sorts of crazy things to keep cutting people out and cutting expenses down? And who is the victim of all of this ultimately, if not you and I? You can work for 35 or 40 years for a company, and one day they walk in and say, we just sold the division, we only need half of you. And you're 45 or 50 years old with 2 kids in university, a house to pay for, and 2 cars. How do you feel? But you will be addicted to the illusion of security. And you get an opportunity like this, and you'll turn on the TV, and when the first 3 people say no, you belly up, you crawl under your emotional covers, and you say, I'm not cut out for this. I just told those of you who start why you're going to quit. You're not going to be able to take it. Now, let's take a look at what you can't take. This is really funny for me. I've been working with the correlation of thought, emotions, habit, and circumstance most of my life. Been teaching it most of my life. So guess what? I don't like being rejected. Oh, nobody does. Well, there's 2 kinds. There's concept rejection, and there's personal rejection, isn't there? Personal rejection is when someone don't like you. Who ever told you that everybody's supposed to like you? So is it okay that some people don't like you? You could be the nicest person in the world, and some people won't like you. So the way to get over that is let it be okay that you don't need to please people. You need to take care of your family. I know people who could come in this business and go right to the top. They got an image problem. They're too good to grovel down there and help the little guy have a chance. They think they're going to keep talking to all the big shots in the world, and they're also too good to go where the help is needed. Give me somebody who has the heart of a lion that wants to be led to victory, and I'll lead them there. Oh, I can't do this. What will my neighbors think? Well, if you're worried about that, you've been conning them all along. So we want to get to the finish line. We know now that there's a lot of things we need to be willing to confront and include if we're going to make it. So let's go through some of the things that stop us. We went through, I don't want to feel rejected. Okay, watch me. If there's something that I don't want to experience emotionally, then I'm resisting it, yes? So let's call this as stupid. No one ever feels stupid. Let's call it embarrassed. I never want to feel embarrassed. Let's call it incompetent. I never want to feel incompetent. Okay? Let's call it rejection. I never want to feel any of these. Now, here's my mind and my spirit. Right up against it. Because I'm engaged either consciously or unconsciously at all times with trying to avoid anything that would evoke these emotions. So you become these emotions. You go through life like a Geiger counter trying to avoid anything where you might be rejected or look embarrassed or look stupid. Come on, ladies, you know what I mean. If someone showed up at some of your doors with a $10,000 check and say, "You won, come on out," and you say, "Just a minute, I haven't fixed my hair and put my makeup on." Not in my family, they'd run right out the door in their pajamas and say, "Give me the check." Do you understand what I'm saying? We have a lot of pretense that does not get us anywhere. I had a young fellow over there in Cancun sitting down with me. You know what he was talking about? He didn't think he could do this business without having this big fancy car and being all cool and looking good. I said, "Well, son, if that's not who you are, then that shouldn't be who you should be acting like. Don't you understand who you are comes through, not the pretense?" We vibrate an aura, every one of us. You tell the world who you are by your presence, by the way you are with someone else. You tell the world what you're up to. And intelligent, aware people will run from you, and even if they don't know for sure, it's the reason they're saying no. Oh, this is dangerous territory, isn't it? You go out there and recruit thinking about your money, and I'll guarantee you're not going to get much. You go out there and recruit about helping someone else get some, you're going to get a bunch of it. Now that doesn't make any sense, does it? Does that logically make sense given the way everything is get what I can, do it how I can, and get as much as I can, as quick as I can, I don't care? You need to have the right kind of attitude to do this business well. And here's your starting point. There are three things that you need to understand. In life, to progress in any way, you must first become something, then you must do and exercise what you become, and then you can hear the word justify the having. That's an unbreakable chain. It doesn't care what you think about it. You and I are victims of it or will comply with it. Do you hear it again? First, you become. Second, you participate or you do. Those two combined over time bring you the result called have. Let's look at the relationship between cause and effect as it relates to the mind. You think a thought, and there is an outcome from the thought. Whatever the outcome is like the seed and the crop. In the seed is the genesis of the result. So every thought predetermines an outcome. Are you following me? But you see, we don't think that. If we did, we'd clean up our thinking, we'd be studying how the mind works, and we'd get on purpose with it. There isn't a thing in your life that you experienced that didn't first get processed through your mind. It's your interpretation of the events, circumstances in your life that make you conclude, then act, and then habitually act, attitudinally become habitual in your responses, and bingo, here's my life, and I'm amazed. How did I get here? I'll tell you how. be, do, have. You probably left off the first one, which means you couldn't do the second one, and you're in amazement. People say, oh, I got a lot of hope. I'm going to tell you something about hope. People who live in hope and don't do die in desperation. Hope is like saying someone else is going to do it for me. Then what the heck is life about? What's the gift of life? To do idly sit back and do nothing? I have people say to me, well, you know, money, I'm not that interested in money. Look closer. Some people will take the higher moral ground. Like, oh, I could never tell my friends about something that I wasn't absolutely sure of. Translate, if it's not guaranteed, I'm not risking anything with my friends. People like that never make it as entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs take the potential of something and make it into a reality at some point. They take the possibility of something and make it into something that ends up real. They take the potential for profits and they create them into profits. It's the way the whole system of achievement works. Everything we have started as something with potential to be something better, yes or no? Well, who are you? God's greatest creation, and we limp and moan and groan and blame and live in the past. Oh my goodness. Where's our appreciation for the gift? So cause and effect. It's an unbreakable chain, and it is the fundamental rule of success. It's understanding that everything I do has an effect. Every act I have is a road leading to some consequence. So people talk about integrity. We are so deep into situational ethics right now that it's dangerous. We don't have a moral compass that says, don't do that, you're cheating. You're going to find people try to bend the rules, lie to people, do things that they know are wrong, but it's like, well, maybe I won't get caught, or someone else did it and got away with it. Doesn't that person know anything about enlightenment? Let me go back to the beginning. You put that out there, you sent it out, didn't you? Huh? Who sent it out? Your grandmother or you? You sent it out. I got news for you. Just time, give it a little time. Whew. You go, what the heck happened? I'm so unlucky. What the heck happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. Just go back and look at what you did. You see, justice is an unusual paymaster. She don't always get you back when you think you're going like this. She's very patient. She sits around and lurks and says, is this dummy going to wake up? I'll give him a couple of more chances, and then zap. Oh, I got no money. I got nothing. I'm a complainer. I blame everybody in my life. If my mother were different, if my father were different, if this were that, if I'd only changed this or changed that. Give me a break. People who do that, have you noticed their life? Have you noticed it? They wallow in negativity and blaming. Yes or no? And they actually feel good doing it. Have you noticed that? Have you also noticed that they can gather people around them that want to do it too, and then they share their sad stories? And there's probably 5% truth in the whole theme. You see? People come and they say to me, George, my business isn't quite going the way I want to. Can you help me? Oh, I'll teach you how to handle that one. How many would like to know how to handle that one? This is real easy. I say, what time is it? Usually they cry at night. Right, Deb? Get the call at night. So the call comes, I say, okay. What time is it? They say, oh, it's 9:30. I say, good. What time did you get up this morning? Oh, I got up at 8:30. Okay. How many people did you talk to today to invite to Thursday's meeting? Dead silence. Oh, bloop, 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 bloop. How many DVDs did you put out today that would help somebody look at your opportunity? Bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm being unfair, aren't I? How about yesterday? We're going to be honest? How about in the last week to 10 days? And then you look at them and say, do you understand something? How can you be successful in a business when you're not doing the business? There are enough people out in this world that will take and want and desire what you have to offer them. But if you're afraid to present, if you're afraid to extend yourself, if you're afraid to look stupid or be ridiculed or have your neighbors laugh, then shame on you. Haven't you noticed they're not paying your house bills? They're not paying your insurance on your... Haven't you noticed that? The biggest enemy you and I have had since we were little, and we better shake it if we're going to make it. The eyes, the words, and opinions of others about us. They have locked us down. In this room here, I can say to you ladies, there's at least 10, 15, 20 of you that were superstar vocalists. You had the voice of an angel. Somebody put you down. It might have been your mother. It might have been your older sister. Somebody said, "What are you doing? Singing." And you crawled into your little cocoon of fear, and you stayed there ever since. And you know what's worse about it? It starts attaching itself to other things that you're going to be afraid of. Man, I want to talk to you. You're not getting off the hook. In this room, there are at least 50 to 100 professional athletes that never made it. And you know who you are. And you know why you didn't make it. You were not dedicated. You weren't willing to pay the price that the man or girl who made it paid. You didn't take care of yourself. The party was more important than your career. And now you sit on the bar stools of life and tell the world what you could have been. And your youth, where you had that strength and vitality, was at your disposal, but your friends who weren't up to what you could have been up to took you in the wrong direction. I know how many of you were here. And as you sit here, you know it too. And if you were to give advice to somebody, would it be do what I did so you can cry like I cry? Or would you say, son, wake up? You see, every one of us are influenced by the people we listen to and the people we hang around with. They will either take you on the road where you want to go, or they will pull you off track and take you where you don't want to go. And they're good at it. They'll make that other side look so good that you go, oh man, this is hard work going to the gym again today. I'd rather go to the party. It's about choices, isn't it? But is there a consequence to every choice? Is not justice insidious? I don't feel it today. It didn't seem like much. Go 6 months from now and see what you left behind. It's always going to be there. Now here's another problem we have. I say to people, wake up out of bed one of two ways. Either you are inspired when you get out of that bed, or you are not. And you need to pick one. And I'm going to tell you, for every one that's inspired, there's 20 or 30 who are not. They get out of bed, they yawn. Oh man, it's morning time already. Go do that daddle-do shower, spray yourself all over, fix your hair, and then go on the routine for some place you're not really too happy to go. Yes or no? And we will do that day after day, year after year, and you get an opportunity and you don't put the key in the door. So at this point, do you think change is just a little bit necessary or absolutely necessary? Pick one. Okay? Here's what we're going to do. When you leave here, you need to discover here or on your way home, why do you want to do this business? And you make your why so big enough. Dream. So that it overpowers your weaknesses. That the will is hard to push. The human will is a son of a gun to push. But it is easier to draw when it's magnetizing itself towards something you declare you want. Now, if you dream lofty dreams, there is a balance. Let me give you the balance. I'm weighing gold. Got it? We got a scale. I got equal amounts on both sides, so it's perfectly balanced. What is the balance? On this side is what I want. Money, prestige, happiness, things I can do for charity. Okay, make your list. This is what I want. The bigger this list, equal size on this side. What I don't want to do or put up with to get it. Perfectly balanced. You see, this is the side we wish weren't there. But this is the side that's always there. This is why there are so few successful people. We just aren't willing to pay the price to enjoy the fruits of our labor. 3 to 5 years in work clothes can put you in tailor-made clothes for the rest of your life if you get serious. See, at this stage of my life, I believe so much more than people believe in themselves. I know what's inside of you that's undeveloped. And someone's got to bring it to your attention. You don't want to go through the rest of your life thinking you have no more options, that you can't have a restart, that you can't recharge your battery. That would be terrible. Because I've seen miracles in my work, absolute miracles. They defy all the logic that anybody could put together. A life can change in a moment of insight and never turn back. If I didn't witness it so much, I couldn't teach it so powerfully. It's up to you. You sitting in those chairs. Quit looking left or right. Quit blaming up or down. Decide that it's you, it's your life, and you deserve, and you're going to get what you're after, and do it with integrity and honesty. So what kind of desire do I need to magnetize my will? Lukewarm will not work. I'll give it a try. Failure. You hearing me? Don't you leave here with the voice, I'm going to give it a try. And I'll tell you why. We've all failed at things in our past, yes or no? So when you say to something new, I'm going to give it a try, let me tell you what's going on in your head. You have a ceiling of your last failure, and you ain't going no further than that point. You're not letting yourself free, because once you hit that wall that you hit before that made you quit, unless you decide to go right straight through it, you'll hit it. Those same emotions will be moving up, and they'll take you over, and out you go. And you know what they're going to be about? Mismanaged emotions. I don't care what you say. I have my mission. My mission's for my family. My mission's for myself. I want to grow as a person. You need to be in an environment to grow, don't you? You see, I love what Greg Provenzano says. I don't know if he said it here. He'll probably say it later. ACN is a personal development program that happens to use products and has a great compensation plan. How many times do you need to hear the stories that you hear without waking up? You all saw somebody up here. You see, I'm sitting in the back, and that young man talking about the pain of losing his brother. I was crying, and I'm a big guy. So you got to have heart. You got to feel for your people. Be gracious. Be kind. It works. Help people out. What's the big deal? I hear people, they ain't my group. Boy, don't you ever say that around me. This is a family. Now that we have that, we have to understand how we create reality. I don't know how much time I got here, not much, but I'm going to go quickly. How we create our reality. Okay? No two people in this room of 14, 15,000 are hearing me the same today. Doesn't that shock you? Because I'm saying the same thing. Same modulation of voice, same points of emphasis to this entire field house, whatever you call this place, it's big. So if that's true, then let me explain why. We all must filter the present things we see through several filters that give it meaning. Sometimes I'll just give you a few. Your ethnicity, your race, your education, your parents, grandparents, the influences, the teachers, the past failures or successes, they're all in front of you as filters. So whatever you see in the moment, in nanoseconds, is checked out by these. And then your mind gives you interpretation or meaning. Okay, an example, when you hear people say, well, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you're right. Okay? Two people sit and see the same opportunity. Same IQ, same backgrounds. One walks out of the building and becomes an RVP 1 or 2 years later. The next one walks out, tries the business for a month and quits. They had the same ability, had the same circle of friends. So then what would be the difference here? Well, let's see those things that are constants. First, the company's a constant, yes. Their history's a constant, yes. Compensation plan is the same for everybody, yes. We all get rewarded according to what we do, yes. The products are the same for everybody, there you go. Now, what's the only variable possible that's left? You! Guess what? That's been the variable since you were born. Take ownership back. Quit giving it away. You don't have to be mad at nobody. You just have to carry that inner stuff that says, I'm changing, baby. You're not getting to me anymore. I'm the duck in the water. Huh? You say no to me, I feel sorry for you. You say I look stupid, I say, you bet there are days I'm a real dummy. What's so hard? You got a problem speaking? Walk up on the stage and tell the audience. Give it away. Give your problem away. I can't tell you, I'm terrified to be up here. But I want you to listen to me. Well, I'll just say 3 things and run. They'll love you. Your fears are self-made ghosts. Self-made ghost of your own making. Now, if your thought process made them, could new understandings and enlightenment unmake them? Could they be put to neutral or even almost completely eliminated? Now I'm going to tell you how to do that. When you know, without a shadow of a doubt, what you want. You want RVP? Then here's how you're going to get it. You're going to take what I call a stand. You're going to look at that target called RVP. And I don't care how far your mind seems to think it's away. See, I know one thing, that if you do one thing, you have got one heck of a chance of making it. And it sounds kind of stupid because it is a weak word in our understanding, and yet it's the most powerful word in getting something done. You surrender to your purpose or your goal. Just surrender to it. I don't care what's between me and there. Bring it on. Now watch. Here comes rejection. Oh, I hated this before. But now this is funny. Man, this is, and here's what you say inside. Woo! One more step closer. Put a big grin on your face. They're actually helping you, and you're running from it. See, I'm going to give you a really cool insight here. I hope you can grasp it. When life moves on and you have wisdom, when you look back, you're going to understand something if you're searching. That every difficulty you've had, every challenge you had, if you didn't give up your goal, was nothing more than a deposit on your eventual victory. Now, I can hold it that way, or I can get washed out. Which one are you going to do? Commitment, doing the thing you said you would do long after the mood you said it in. Faith without works is nothing. Faith without works is nothing. Faith is something that you spiritually believe as an eventuality, in full belief it will happen. It's not confirmed in the presence except in the non-matter of your spirit and mind. But you own it here or you never get it. So you conceptualize what it is you want. And you build that dream. And you're willing to say faith has to be attached to action. And action and persistence over time will make my faith manifest where I don't need faith anymore because I possess that which I had faith in. Enthusiasm. Quit being cool. You got it? Quit the pretense. Why? You discover yourself when you're enthusiastic. It's ardent, it's imaginative, it's powerful, it's magnetic. It'll take people wanting to be around you because you bring to life a certain joy in your presence. And people will want to be around you because maybe they need that little boost that you can give with a hand on the shoulder, a handshake, a hug. Do you understand the power we have? Nelson Mandela said it best. He said, we're not really afraid of the darkness. We're afraid of the light we really have. So we're going to be enthusiastic. Persistence wears down anything. But persist on the foundation of surrender. You hearing it? Persistence will take a person of average ability and mold them into a superstar. It's done it over and over and over again. Persistence will deny failure to that person who won't let go. It will deny it. It'll never be a permanent condition of your life if you don't quit. The world is full of quitters, and most quitters come from not being able to manage disappointment, frustration, and discouragement. There's where they live. And I hope my comments have helped you realize the folly of letting that stop you anymore.